Hello my friends, and welcome back to another video, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin, and today we are going to do something that I'm very excited about because if you know me, you know witchy books are some of my absolute favorite books of all time. I always have the best time reading them. So I was like, let me look at my shelves. Let me see how many witchy books I actually own on my TBR. The total is 14. Well, okay, 14 that scream witchy. There could be some hiding that I missed because I either A, forgot they were witchy, or B, there's like witchiness in them and I'm just not sure about it. I found a total of 14 books and I was like, I should do a video reading some of these books because some of them have been on my TBR for so long, and I was like, look, why don't I just split it down the middle, pick the 7 that sound the absolute best, and film a vlog reading all 7 of them. Which is what I did. I picked these 7 because these are the ones that I felt the most intrigued by. I felt like they were all very different from each other and they were gonna give me like an array of options, and some of them I'm really looking forward to reading. So I was like, these are gonna be the ones I read in this video. Now, if you all like this video, here are the other 7 books that I could read in a part 2. So please let me know in the comments down below if you want a part 2, and nice. Let me know in the comments if you want a part 2, and I will read these 6 books and the one that fell on the floor, and I will read them in another vlog. Enough chit-chatting. That's the vlog. That's the video. We're reading witchy books. It's almost October. It might be October while you're watching this, but it's about to be October. This is the time for witchy books. So let's see how I get on with the 7 I picked. Alright, so I finished the first witchy book, which was A Dark and Secret Magic by Wallace Kinney. I almost said Kennedy. I don't know why. But I think this is one of the most autumnal, October-y books you could ever read. I'm gonna say right now, I think if you want a book that reminds you of a crisp, cool, gloomy, kind of like rainy, misty fall day, and you're at the pumpkin patch and you're drinking warm apple cider or hot chocolate and there's like a Halloween festival of sorts, if you want a book that just encompasses that feeling, this is the book for you, okay? It is the most atmospheric book I think I've ever read about October. Like, this book made me so happy that I live in a world where Octobers exist. Like, I mean, I'm already excited about that. Like, I love October. My favorite month. I wish I was born in October. Like, I wish I could live in October all year round. This book, like, I feel like if I read this once a month, I feel like I could transport myself to a world that stays in October all year round. That sounds so dramatic, but like, I don't even have words for the atmosphere in here. It's actually perfect. I started reading and I was like, oh, please. I think if you like books like the movie Practical Magic, if you like the movie Practical Magic and then you read the book and you were like, oh, this doesn't feel the same, I feel like you should read this because it's very reminiscent of Practical Magic. Like, it feels very similar, a lot of the same like feelings and kind of like bigger plot points. I don't want to say like smaller plot points because the plots are very different, but I do feel like they hit kind of the same beats. So if you're searching for something similar, I would definitely suggest this. So in this book, we're following the main character, Hecate, and it is about 6 days from Halloween, and she is going to turn 31 on Halloween. That's her birthday. But Halloween is also like the witch's version of New Year's. But in this story, Hecate, she is a hedge witch, and it's very interesting because in her coven, you get to pick your witch path. but she is a little unconventional. Her mother picked her path for her, like right when she was born. So she was a baby and her mom was like hedge witch. And so she's just kind of lived in that place. Like she was like, you know what, yeah, I have an affinity for it, I'm good at it, I like it, this is my path. But she didn't really choose it, which isn't very common. And she gets an unexpected visitor at her door, and as a hedge witch, she has to offer this person sanctuary. And it's this man named Matthew who they met 10 years ago. They had this connection, but he is from a different coven, and he practices like shadow magic, which is technically a darker, like bad magic. So she's not very keen on letting him in, but as her duty as a hedge witch, she does grant him sanctuary. And while he's staying with her, she ends up getting roped in by her sisters to help out with the planning and preparing of the festivities for Samhain, or like Halloween, like the big festivities that they're gonna have. And while Matthew was kind of helping her as like a gratitude for letting him stay, she comes across this secret that her mother has been like hiding, and it kind of throws her world upside down, and she uncovers, you know, some things, and there's a bigger thing at play, but I don't want to get into it because I feel like it would spoil it. So there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. It definitely feels like in the beginning this cozy, just like warm little witch book, which it is that, but there is also like something else going on that she has to, I want to say the words like a defeat, but that, I mean, yeah, she has to defeat something like this big bad in this book that's also at play. I really enjoyed it. It felt like a warm hug. It was absolute perfection to read. It was so heartwarming and it made me so happy. Like I highly recommend reading this during October. It is going to be the best October book. Like I don't even think I can think of something better than this, honestly, especially if you want something like cozy and warm. There's a lot of food mentioned, and like drinks, and that's like a lot of stuff she does. She does a lot of cooking, and like she uses a lot of magic with drinks and food because she is a hedge witch, so she treats ailments and helps people when they need things and stuff like that. But at the back of the book, oh my god, there's a, hold on. So it's like a little excerpt from her book, but they have teas and cookies and food recipes back here, which honestly I really want to try because some of these drinks sound so wonderful and would probably be perfect for like a cool, crisp October day. Like, oh, the leaves falling, you're sipping on something warm, and this was a dream to read. So good. I think my only like thing that I didn't love was the ending. It's not that it was bad, I just wanted it to be a little bit different. So I am giving this a 4.5, but honestly, such a strong start to this witchy reading vlog. Like, this was such a good first pick. I'm so glad I read this. I love. The second book on the TBR is Salt and Broom by Sharon Lynn Fisher. So I don't know much about this one, but I did hear that it's like a Jane Eyre retelling, like a witchy Jane Eyre. I'm gonna be honest, never read Jane Eyre, don't know what it's about. I'm not really a classics girly. I don't really read the classics. It's just not really like where my brain likes to live. I don't like reading them that often, so I don't really know what this is gonna be like, but I really hope I like it, and I hope it's just a good time. Honestly, I kind of hope it's gonna be similar to this in like atmosphere and vibes and that kind of thing. So hopefully I enjoy it. So this is gonna be the next one, and I will update when I have finished it. Okay, so I have finished Salt and Broom, and honestly I thought I was going to hate this. Maybe not hate it, but I did think I was gonna have a less enjoyable time with this book because I don't know Jane Eyre. Like, I don't know that story. I don't read classics. So I was a little worried that my not having any previous knowledge was going to hinder my enjoyment of this book, but I actually really did enjoy this one. I don't like it as much as the last book I read. I think that one is a little bit more my speed. This one is, it's a different kind of vibe, okay? It's more like Victorian Gothic romance, a hint of spooky witchiness added to it. So in this book we're following Jane. She was orphaned as a child and she's grown up at this school for girls, and she now works there and she teaches, I guess she teaches witchcraft, I guess. They don't like to call it that because witchcraft and witches have such a bad connotation when you say that word, so they don't call it that, but she basically teaches a form of witchcraft. And this man, Mr. Rochester, writes to school saying that he's in desperate need of a witch to come and help him at his estate because there is, you know, some stuff going on. So the school sends Jane, and her and Mr. Rochester get off on like kind of a weird footing when they first meet. And she is very independent, she's very outspoken, she doesn't just politely say what a man expects of her. She speaks her mind, so she's a little worried that he's not going to take very well to her, but they actually, you know, become very close and they do grow a stronger bond, and he does like her outspokenness. He likes that she's different and he likes that she is the way she is. But of course there seems to be something wrong at Thornfield where he lives, his estate. Something, you know, is amiss, some evil is afoot, so Jane is there to try and suss out what's going on. This definitely is more romance forward in my opinion, and that could be because it's taking inspiration from Jane Eyre. Now, I cannot tell you how close it is to its source material because I have never read it. So I don't know if people who love Jane Eyre are gonna read this and love it just the same. I don't know how many tweaks were made. I don't know how faithful it is. You know, I don't know any of those questions. So all I can tell you as a person that read it and doesn't really know the source material, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought that, you know, the Gothic Victorian vibes were good. It was a little slow in my opinion. I feel like a lot of stuff didn't happen until like the very end, which isn't surprising since it does have a more Gothic feel to it. I think I was just expecting it to be a little punchier because it is fairly short. That being said, I did enjoy my time. I liked Jane, I liked Mr. Rochester. I thought they were really interesting characters. I liked the way the story unfolded. I like how it all came to be. I think there are some nice little fantastical witchy aspects to the book. Now, I don't know, it kind of makes me want to read Jane Eyre. I don't want to say that I will though because I'm just not a classics person. So I will say that it kind of made me want to, but I have to appreciate that this was written in a way that didn't make me want to bash my head into a wall. I feel like with a lot of classics, they make me feel very stupid because of the way they are written. And I know it's just because they are older. It's just how it goes. I'm just not used to it, but I can't stand the writing of a lot of classics. So if you are like me and that also bothers you, I will say this doesn't feel like that. It definitely has a same structure in terms of writing, and I think it kind of follows a similar formula, but I feel like the writing itself is much more easy and accessible in terms of comparing it to a classic. So that also was enjoyable to me. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was an easy, fun little read. I mean, I don't know if it would be like the first witchy book I turned to, but for what it was, I enjoyed it, and so I'm probably gonna give it 4 stars. In reality, it's probably more of like a 3.75, but I feel like I would just give it 4 because there aren't too many things I didn't like about it. Yeah, it was a good time. I liked it. I think it also, just comparing it to the last book I read, that one was like so good. It like hit all the points I wanted to. So for this one, it just felt like a little flat for me. So I think next I'm going to pick the shortest book in my pile because I'm gonna finish this in like 2 seconds. It's gonna be so quick. Okay, not really 2 seconds, but it will be a very quick read. And this is Itza by Rios de la Luz. This is a novella. I don't know much about this. It's been on my TBR for, oh man, since 2022, 2023, something like that. So I've had it for a good amount of time. So I want to get this read. I am sure I'll have my thoughts for you here soon. So I knew it wasn't going to take me that long to finish this, so I am back. And this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And that's probably my fault for not really looking into it a lot more. But you all know I like going into books really blind and not knowing a lot because I like to experience the book. And I just feel like knowing too much about a book sometimes hinders my experience. So it's probably my fault because I don't think this was quite what I was expecting. So this is following a family of water witches. They live near the US-Mexico border. And in this family, there's 2 sisters, a mom, an abuela, and an abuelita. So a great-grandmother, a grandmother, the mom, and 2 sisters, right? So that's the family. And there's not really a plot. It feels like every chapter or every new section of the book, it feels like a memory. It just feels like this is a bunch of memories put together. The best way I can explain this, so bear with me, okay? If you've ever watched a TV show or like a kids show or a Disney Channel show or, you know, whatever, like a TV show, okay? And every episode includes the same set of characters, right? But it doesn't necessarily connect to the previous episode. It's just a new story, but you have previous knowledge, right? Because you know these characters, you see them, you know their life, but there's not necessarily a plot to string the entire series together. But then sometimes you'll have a few episodes in a row that do make sense next to each other. Like they need to be in a sequence, like to understand the plot, right? Or the plot continues into the next episode. Or another episode references something that happened in a previous episode. Do you know what I'm saying? I know that sounds so weird, but that's what this reminds me of. Because sometimes it's very hard to understand what the timeline of this story is, because you don't get a real timeline. You don't, like, in the later chapters or sections, it'll reference an age, but you can't really tell what comes before what or what comes after what. It just kind of feels discombobulated, right? Again, it feels like memories. So the first few, like, you'll read one and then another chapter and they make sense together, and then all of a sudden it's something else and you're like, well, did that come before or after? And you just don't really know. The writing is very like dreamy, metaphorical kind of writing. It's not bad, but it's just, I think it also adds another layer to make it hard to really know what's going on. Because to me, there's not really a plot. It's more just like a discussion of several topics, like racism, childhood trauma, abuse, losing innocence, growing up, you know? It's just like life. That sounds so broad and kind of generic, but that's kind of what this is. It's just their life and talking about certain memories and how they grew up, certain members of the family. The witchy aspect is not very witchy in my opinion. It's here and there, but I think it's like one of the most realistic witch books I've read. Like what you expect a real life witch to look like. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This is just not really what I expected. It's not really what I was aiming for. It's not the kind of witchy book I would read. I don't think it's bad, but it just like surprised me. It was kind of hard for me to follow. I think because I do enjoy a very character heavy story, but I also need it to be plot focused. And for this, it's more about characters, but also not really, because you don't get to know a lot about the characters. It's short, so you get bare bones, like just what they want you to know. And again, like I said, it doesn't feel like a big plot, and I don't know. It's interesting. I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I got it off my TBR, but it's not quite for me. I do love that this author is from El Paso. I believe this publishing company, Broken River Books, is also an El Paso based company, which I have family in El Paso and I've been many times, so I love that connection that I have to the book. But it was just, I think, hard for me to enjoy it because it wasn't what I was expecting. It like threw me for a loop, you know? So I'm probably gonna give this 3 stars. It's not necessarily for me, but I can see a lot of people really enjoying this. Yeah, it was not what I was expecting it to be at all. I know it's kind of a long shot, but I was thinking that maybe in this vlog, I would have nothing below a 4-star. I really just thought, like, witchy books, they're some of my favorite. Like, this is the vlog where nothing's gonna get a low mark. I'm gonna love every book. Enter the Bane Witch by Ava Morgan. Okay. Let me tell you what this book is about. So we have the main character, Piers. She has just faked her own death to leave her abusive marriage. She ends up seeking refuge with this aunt of her Aunt Myrtle, and while she's there with her aunt hiding and kind of starting over, her aunt tells her that she comes from a long line of Bane witches, and these witches ingest poison, and the poison doesn't do anything to them. So like poisonous plants, mushrooms, that kind of thing. And when they ingest it, the body like stores their poison and they use it to then kill evil, bad, terrible men. There's also a serial killer loose who's killing women in the area that she's staying in. So, okay. This is pitched as Gone Girl meets Practical Magic, and I have to say that's a very good, like, plain, simple, on paper way to explain this book. I would say it's more Gone Girl than Practical Magic, in my opinion. The practical magic elements, it's more like if you've seen the movie, I feel like you would kind of see the similarities. It's smaller though. I wouldn't say it's super practical magic feeling. I didn't hate this book. I think the idea is super clever. I think the plot is really cool. I'm all for women killing men. Like, some of my favorite books involve women killing men. Some of my favorite plots are about women killing men. I love it. Like, it's a fun trope for me, okay? I love supporting women's wrongs and women's rights, okay? So I should have loved this, but I think the problem is the main character really got on my nerves, okay? It's such a petty thing to not like her for, but when she finds out she's a Bane witch, she's like, so we're murderers. Like, we're murderers. I'm like, girl, no, you're killing evil men, okay? And every time she finds out about someone that their family has killed, she's like, but what about their family? What about their kids? What about their wife? Yeah, they're better off now. Like, and I'm over here like, she is wasting such a great opportunity she's been given. Her gift is amazing. So many of us would take her gift in a heartbeat. I know I would. Sign me up to be a Bane Witch. Give me this power. I'm down. I would be like, this is the greatest gift in the world. Like, I would do so much good, okay? Like, I would love to be her, okay? And she complains all the time. She's like, I can't do this. I want a normal life. Like, this is just evil. We're murderers. Shut up. Shut up. Like, you're like, girl, please stop. Like, she was getting on my last nerve. I was like, you're so annoying. And I don't know what that says about me, okay? That I was getting mad because she was like, maybe she's a good person. Maybe I'm a terrible person. And so I'm terrible because I think she was being stupid. But like, it took her so long to get on board with this. She was like, hemming and hawing and I can't do this. Come on, girl. Just eat the plants and kill the men. Let's go. Let's do it, okay? Like, ugh, stop your whining. So she got on my last nerves. She really bothered me. We also get a POV of this detective who is investigating her death back in the town that she left, and I didn't really care about that, to be honest. I felt like that was super unnecessary. I don't know why we had to get his POV. Not interesting enough that I think it did anything for the story. Like, I see where the author was trying to draw connections between him and his life and his trauma with Piers, but like, who cares? Like, I didn't care about this guy. Then there was the serial killer, which I was excited about, but the serial killer really doesn't come into play until like here. Like, they talk about him. They're like, oh, that serial killer is on the loose. He's killing people. But then, like, it doesn't actually come into the plot until so far in. And I'm like, what was the point of having the serial killer? I feel like this book almost was trying to do too much because it is pretty unique. Like I said, the Bane Witch concept is really cool. The Poisonous Plants, loved it. I haven't read anything similar to this, so I was really excited. But I think there were too many elements that were competing, but they didn't really mesh, and I don't think all of them were needed to tell the story. Like, I didn't think it was needed. So I'm really sad because the cover's so cool. I think the idea is cool. It was there. It does feel like Practical Magic meets Gone Girl. It's just wasn't executed that well, and I'm sad because I love when books are about women getting revenge, you know, and like coming out on top, and like I love that, but like she was so annoying. Like, oh my god. I also didn't love the like coven aspect of this book, but I think it's because I'm so used to a coven in witch books being more like family, and yes, they are family in this book, but they're not super like, I guess they're not really like loving, and so I like that whole found family coven vibe, even if they are different people and they don't mesh all the way. Like, I like that feeling, and it wasn't fully there in this kind of coven situation, so I didn't love that as much either. So really cool idea, wasn't to my taste. I'm probably gonna give it a 3-star. It also just read so slow. It was over 300 something. It was like 370, 360 something pages. It was so long. I was like, I'm done. Get it out of my face. Get this girl. Piers, leave. So we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna go for something cozy, which is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sengu Mandana. I read, what was the other book called? The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I read that earlier this year, loved it, gave it 5 stars, so I'm very much looking forward to this one. I'm hoping that this coziness will take away the last book that I just read, and I will like this one much more. And I really like the aardvark version. It's so pretty. Look at that ombre. Oh, stunning. Aardvark they always knock it out of the park. Like, seriously, the books are so gorgeous. So I'm gonna read this one next, and hopefully we get back on track with some 4+ star reviews. So indeed, I made the best decision with going with this one next, because I feel like we're back on the right track. I feel like, you know, we had a slight dip with the last book, but this one brought me back. I'm giving this 4 stars, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you what it was about, what I thought, and blah, blah, blah. So in the beginning of the book, we meet Sarah. She is 15, and she is basically the most powerful witch in Britain at this time. She is super, super powerful, and then she resurrects her great aunt. She resurrects her great aunt, and in doing so, she loses all her magic. She kind of has the help of this fox who is kind of mischievous, and so this whole event occurs, and then we jump 15 years later. So now she's 30, and she's helping run this inn that her aunt was taking care of. So now she's kind of the main, she's the main person, right? And there are like these really fun characters who stay at the inn, and they're all very unique and quirky characters, but that's basically her life now because she doesn't have magic. However, she does find out about this spell that could give her all her magic back. And then enter Luke. He is a historian witch, and he ends up coming to the inn. He has a sister, Posey, who's 9, and she's autistic. She's so cute. And they end up staying at the inn, and him and Sarah get closer, and he kind of helps with the spell, and other things happen, okay? I wasn't as quickly enamored with this one as I was the Irregular Society. Wait, what was it called? The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I don't know why I can never get that right. I switch words. Anyways, I definitely was more invested in that one quicker. This one took me a little bit longer to find my footing with. It was easy to read. It was really fast. I read it in a day. It was like really easy and fun and cute and cozy. And I love cozy fantasy. I do. I just have this like draw to it. I think it's because I want to live in a cozy fantasy world. Like, that would be my ideal life, is being like a witch and running this inn and like meeting all these fun quirky characters, and we all become friends, and it's like found family, and that would just be like my ideal life. So I think I'm drawn to cozy fantasy because there's a good amount, well, if it's done right, there's a good amount of action and cozy. I will say this one is definitely less stuff happening. Like, there's not as much suspense around certain things. You're not like waiting for bad things to happen at every turn. It's way more cozier in my opinion in that sense. So if you're looking at something that's more equal action to equal cozy, you're probably not going to get that. But it is fun because, you know, there are all these characters that you get to know and see their personalities and how different they are, but how they all work together seamlessly in this inn. And you get to see Sarah trying to find her magic again, and they do touch on some like other topics like race and feeling not wanted in a place that you live in, and how people just can make you feel so isolated and alone and worthless. So they do touch on topics like that, which I liked. I think where this one falls flat for me is, one, I wasn't a big fan of the ending, and the ending's cute, it's good, it's not bad, but I think I would have had it go a different way, and I know some people don't agree with me. I do like endings to have kind of a neat, nice bow. Sometimes that's not good because then it feels a little forced, but I think with cozy fantasy, having like this neat, nice bow isn't bad. It's not, I feel like people are expecting it. It's kind of like a rom-com. You expect it to tie up all nice and neat, so I kind of expect the same in a cozy fantasy. And the ending, like, yeah, it did a little bit, but I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I wanted it to be something different, so I was like, oh, All right, so I think I liked more of the journey than the actual ending. I liked the romance. I liked, you know, I love a little found family and a cozy fantasy, so I did like that. I think it's still a really good book. I think it's cute. It's heartwarming. It's sweet. It kind of made me tear up a little bit. So if you do like a cozy fantasy, I highly recommend it. I think it's fun. I just don't think it's as good as The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. It's a mouthful, but I did like it. I thought it was cute. Now we're switching gears again because I only have 2 books left in this stack that I'm trying to read. And so I think we're gonna switch it again and do something different, and I'm gonna read The Manningtree Witches by A.K. Blakemore, which is more of a historical witch story. I believe this is more like about the witch trials, so I am very much looking forward to this one. I find books like this fascinating, even though they are very irritating and they like give me visceral reactions. I do really like reading about the witch trials, so I'm looking forward to this. It's been on my TBR for at least 3, maybe 4 years. It might be 4 years, so I've definitely had this for a long time, so I want to get this read. So this is the next one, and I will check in. I knew this video was going too smoothly. Like, I really knew deep down that something was gonna happen and I was going to have to DNF a book, or I was gonna really hate a book. And unfortunately, I am DNFing The Manningtree Witches. I want to love this. I want to love it so bad, but I got about 30 pages into this book and I knew there was no way I was going to be able to finish this, review it in a manner that 1, made sense, and 2, was well thought out and a decent review. Like, okay, I am not a historical reader. Like, I don't read historical books a lot. I dabble into historical horror. I've gotten some historical fantasy here and there, but truly I am not an avid historical reader. I don't gravitate towards them, and I think because this book is the prime example of why. There's nothing wrong with the plot of this book. Granted, I didn't really get into the plot of this book. I mean, nothing really happened in 30 pages. It literally says that this is a small English town in the grip of the 17th century witch trials, and the young woman tasked with saving them all from themselves. So like, I didn't even get to that point. Like, nothing really happened. We were just talking about the main characters and kind of life in the village. It was just more setting the scene and telling you what the book was like going to progress into. So it really didn't get anywhere where I was at. So my problem is I found the writing to be very inaccessible for someone like me. Now, if you read a lot of historical books or historical settings, if you like a writing that is going to immerse you into the time period and use the language that they used, you're probably gonna love this, because to me it feels very authentic. I do feel like the writing is a little flowery mixed with the, you know, wording. I just don't understand it. Like, my brain, words were going in one ear and out the other. I mean, okay, words were going in one eye and out the other. That's probably a better way to phrase it, but I don't know what the author's saying. Like, I genuinely, my brain doesn't know these words. I've never heard these words, and so I'm reading sentences multiple times. Like, it took me a few hours to read 30 pages because I was rereading things to make sure that I was trying my best to understand it. Now, could I have continued the book and Googled words and put my whole brain into it? Probably, but one, I don't have the time for that in the sense of doing this vlog. Like, I'm in a time crunch. I set a certain amount of time aside for these vlogs. So this vlog would not get done when I wanted to if I did that. But two, like, that's gonna be so much effort for me to read this one book, which I don't think is a bad thing. I don't think putting in the effort to read a book, but I do wonder how just like an average person would be able to read this if they have to Google, you know, words every few minutes. And you know, not everyone has Google at their fingertips. So I do feel like this book is a little inaccessible. Like I said, it's hard to read, especially if you're not used to this kind of language, if you don't read settings like this, if you don't, you know, if you don't have this language in your brain, if you haven't like previously studied it, or you're not like super knowledgeable in it, I do feel like people will have a hard time. And I don't love books that make me feel dumb. It's not that I don't like to challenge myself. I like challenging myself in reading, and I do like books that push back and challenge my ideas and my thoughts and make me question things. It's not that, but I don't like when books make it feel hard to read and therefore make me feel really dumb. And this book kind of makes me feel dumb. So I don't think I'm the target audience for this book. I love the idea of it, and honestly, like I said, it's probably really accurate. It's like this author probably did so much research and put so much effort into this book, and like it's probably really great. But for someone like me, I just don't think I'm the reader for this book. So I am going to DNF, unfortunately. This has been on my TBR for so long. I think 4 years, 3 or 4 years I said earlier. So yeah, sadly this is not for me, but I hope maybe someone watching it really connects with what I'm saying and decides to pick it up. Or if you've read it, you can tell me how good it is and if I'm missing out. So I've moved on to the last book in the vlog, and I'm already 103 pages in, but I am reading The Late Night Witches by Aurelie Wallace. I read In the Company of Witches by this author and absolutely loved it, so I knew I had to get my hands on this book ASAP. And I'm not too far in, like I said, I'm only 100 pages, but so far we've met our main character, Cassie, who is a mom of 3. She has 2 boys who are 8, and a 15-year-old daughter. And she's kind of like a single mom at this point because her husband is working for Doctors Without Borders. He goes away for like his job, I think, in 6-month increments. So he is currently away on business. So she's doing everything on her own. And she's kind of struggling with that. She works at like a hardware store to help make ends meet, and you can tell she's just really tired. She's very exhausted with taking the brunt of the work for the family, and just, I think she just wants some things to change. She has a sister, a younger sister named Eliza, who is kind of a mess. She's kind of messy. She kind of gets into trouble, and Cassie's always left picking up after her. She's kind of like the mom to Eliza. A neighbor in her neighborhood has gone missing, and they have quickly found out that there are vampires. So this is kind of like this is kind of like a witchy, cozy, well, it's kind of cozy, it's kind of just like funny, but the vibes are really good. It takes place on, what's the place? Prince Edward Island, and obviously it's October. The island's like super foggy and atmospheric, so the vibes are really, I want to say practical magic, but not really. I mean, kind of. And then it's kind of like Buffy. It gives Buffy vibes. So if you like witchy atmospheric reads, but then you want like an addition of vampires, this might be a good one. So far I'm having a good time. It's funny. It doesn't feel like anything like jaw-dropping, but I'm having a good time. The characters are interesting. It's making me laugh out loud, and it's obviously a much easier read than The Manningtree Witches, obviously. But yeah, I'm having a good time, so I'm gonna finish this, and I'll let you all know what I think when this one is done, and this whole vlog will then be done. First off, if you can hear the construction, sorry, I can't do anything about it. It's annoying to me too, so whatever. But I did finish The Late Night Witches. Funny enough, I did finish it very, very, very late in the early morning. I won't say late at night because it was the early morning for me. But I did finish this, and I have so many mixed thoughts on this. I don't know if I loved this. I actually know for a fact I can't say that I loved this. I did like it. There are things about this book that I liked, but there are also things about this book that I didn't really like. One of the things about this book is it's very unserious. Which, yes, it's a cozy little fantasy. So, like, I understand that it's gonna have some comedy. It's lighthearted, hee hee, ha ha ha, whatever. But when you think about In the Company of Witches, if you've read it, there is a very serious undertone to that book because the main character lost her husband. So it was really emotional at times, and especially the ending, it made me cry because it was so, like, sad but like beautiful at the same time. So for me, that's why I really liked it. It gave me an emotional reaction. This was more silly goofy. It kind of felt like a Scooby-Doo episode or like a Scooby-Doo movie because the main character is just so unaccepting of her reality as a witch. She is like, this can't be possible. I can't believe there are vampires and we have to fight them and blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, at every step of the way, she is just fighting the reality that she has to face. And it kind of reminds me of like Shaggy and Scooby always running away and making like jokey comments and like never taking anything seriously, but they're always scared. It kind of felt like that because she's so terrified, but she's taking it seriously, but she's also like not accepting reality. So it's like a combination of like unserious and just her being kind of stupid. And we know I hate when the main characters just blatantly refuse to accept their reality. I said it in The Bane Witch earlier. I don't know if it's because I'm just someone who would literally kill to find out that they're a witch. Like, if I had powers and I found out I was a witch and they were like, our ancestors, you're from a long line of witches. If I found that out, I would take no time to have to accept it. I'd be like, amazing, I'm a witch. I've literally always dreamed of this. Thank you so much. Amazing. Why are you fighting it so hard? Because this is like my dream come true, okay? So she was a really irritating character. She's 33, I think. Cassie is the main character, and I didn't love that she's this exhausted mom who no one gives credit to, and she's lost sight of herself. Like, I think a lot of moms will obviously be able to feel seen, and I think Cassie will resonate with them. I'm not a 33-year-old mom of 3 who feels exhausted from being a mom and not know who they are. I mean, I don't know who I am all the way, but like, I just couldn't relate to Cassie. She kind of irritated me. I actually liked her sister a lot more, like the messy younger sister. I thought she was cooler. Honestly, I would have rather her been the main character because Cassie just really irritated me. I don't know, okay? It's just because Cassie just couldn't accept her reality and it made me mad, alright? Okay. And I just have a hard time with books about motherhood because I'm just not a mom. I don't want to be a mom, so that's always just something that's a little hard for me when I'm reading because I just don't care. It's like boring to me. I can't relate, so I just want to skip past it. I do see the connection to practical magic more now than I did before, especially if you've seen the movie, because when I'm referencing practical magic, I definitely mean the movie, not the book. At least in my opinion, this feels more like the movie. Cassie and Eliza, the sisters, they feel a lot like Sally and Jilly from the movie. So like they have this very complicated, loving, you know, situation, and Sally's always, you know, magic, don't do it, da 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 da. And I feel like Cassie's kind of, not that she doesn't want to do it, but she's kind of just holding herself back. So that felt similar. They also have this aunt in this book, Aunt Dorcas, I think is how you say her name. I'm not really sure. But she's kind of like crazy and whimsical and kind of quirky and odd and stuff like that. So it kind of reminds me of the aunts from Practical Magic. There is some romance in this book, which I did feel like was a little weird because the main character is married, but her marriage is kind of just terrible. Her husband is... He wasn't even in the book, and I was still really annoyed. So I have such complicated feelings. It did make me laugh, okay? Like, it did make me laugh. It was funny. It was cute. I think a lot of people will like it. I just don't think it lived up to my expectations because I was expecting a book more in line with In the Company of Witches, and this is not it. It's more unserious, it's silly. They're cracking jokes at serious moments. They're like, it's just more to like, it's just more silly. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like a Halloween version of a Hallmark Christmas movie. That's what it feels like. Cheesy, silly, the jokes are kind of like, oh my god. Like, you know, it's predictable, you expect it to go the way it does, everything turns out the way you expect, like, you know, whatever. It feels like that. It's not like a new favorite. It was enjoyable. You know what? Another thing is the main vampire, he's supposed to be this big, bad vampire. He was like never around. Like, nothing, like, he showed up like twice. He was not intimidating. It was kind of lame. I kind of wanted him to be more antagonistic or something, but that was also a thing that I didn't have the best time with. Anyways, okay, yeah, I don't know. It's like a 3.5, maybe. I'm so sad. I wanted this to be like a new favorite. I really thought this was gonna be my favorite out of the vlog, which is why I saved it for last. But it was good. It was cute. Well, I really thought this was going to be a home run of a vlog, but it definitely produced mixed results. Like I said in the intro, I have about 7 more witchy books, so if you want to see a part 2 to this, let me know, and I can definitely do that here soon. So let me know what you thought in the comments down below. If you've read any of these, what you thought. Let me know your ratings. If you have any witchy books that you would recommend to me. And with that being said, give this video a like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. We can become friends. You know the drill. I say this in every video. And with that being said, I hope you're having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!